Hey, welcome to BGEN 494 Business Senior Seminar. This means you guys are approaching the end of your collegiate journey. So congratulations, I guess, and good luck, and have some fun in senior seminar. So, senior seminar, what do we do? Well, we're going to play a management simulation game, and it is from a company called, I'll just start all over again here, it's from a company called CapSim, and you can find that in www.capsim.com. Okay, or just type in the capsim.com into your search thing, and it'll have something like this. Okay, this is the page, and when you get your packet from the bookstore, and the bookstore is the only place where you can get the packet, then this is where you'll come. Just come to capsim.com, and I think it tells you that in the packet. The packet's like one sheet of paper with a code on it. Don't lose that. That's like your life. Okay. And then you would come to sign up, right? Students, register now, and I won't be able to go a lot further, okay? It's got a little tutorial to walk you through that. Select your course, okay? I will give you a course number here in a little bit, okay? I will give you a course number here in a little bit. So you'll be able to find the course, or just plug in the course, I think, using that course number. You can also search and find it, be under Montana State University Northern or MSU Northern. I'm not sure which. Okay, and I'm going to get out of there, and I'm going to kind of start all over again here with CapSim, and okay, just so I have it up and ready to go. Okay, so that's what we're going to do for the semester. You guys get to compete against each other. Now, last time I looked, I think we had 14 students. It had come up when I originally set this up. I had 12, I think. Ooh, might even have more than that. We'll take a look here. And 14, yeah. Okay. So I might go in, and I'll have a week or two, I think, to change this, and because I originally thought, well, that 12 students would be 4 teams of 3 per team, and I like 3. 3 in the past has seemed to work okay. Bigger groups work okay in class, but in an online scenario, that's fewer students that you have to communicate with, because you guys are going to have to communicate using all the various means that you use to communicate in order to make decisions and whatnot on a regular basis. So I may expand that, so we may end up having like 4 teams with 3 people and 1 team with just 2 people. That said, if you have a very compelling reason, okay, to team up with somebody in particular, it might be that you live in the same town, since this is an online course. It might be that your schedule is the same if you're here in Havre. It might be that you've worked with somebody in the past, and that's who you would like to work with again on these particular in this particular class. If you have a compelling reason, and if you both or 3 agree, I might willingly put you on the same team. We're going to have a couple weeks to make those decisions. So if that's something that you have in mind, they'll be thinking about it, and send me emails, each of you, then, to that effect. So let's go through quickly the syllabus. Okay, ooh, look at that, I got the wrong date on it and everything. Gosh dang, see how horrible I am? It's actually fall of 2015, shame on me. It's probably because I used the same one I used last year and I didn't find any need to update. I think the team member guide might still be the 2014 guide. I might be wrong. They may have upgraded that too, but I don't know that until I've seen it, and I don't really get to see it. You guys get to look at it, and I don't necessarily get to. So a lot of the top stuff is stuff that's pretty generic for our syllabi, so you can kind of look through that if you'd like to. And then we talk about the capstone simulation, okay, software. This is what you're paying for at the bookstore. It's one sheet of paper. It's going to seem like you're not getting your money's worth, but what you're buying is the ability to participate in this online simulation that I think you'll enjoy. Okay, I think that you'll enjoy it, and I think you'll get a lot out of it both. So that's what you're paying for, and yeah, it's not a big thick textbook, and it's not something you get to take with you, but I think you'll find to be worth the money when it's all done. At least it's been my experience that as the semester winds down, that students generally say that they've had a pretty good experience, and they oftentimes say good things about it if there's an evaluation of this particular class. So your scores are going to be based partly on participation. Okay, there's ways that I can track your participation even in an online course. So it's not just showing up to class, which obviously we don't have. It's not any of those things. Okay, there's just different ways that the simulation allows me to track, you know, how active you are and whatnot. So that's kind of important. Capstone simulation analysis. So you're going to be competing, okay, each week, and in basic it's going to work this way. Each week the winning team, okay, we're going to have practice rounds and competitive rounds, but the winning team in each of those rounds, whether it be practice or competitive, gets an A for that particular round, I should say, of competition. Every other team and every other team member gets an F. I know that sounds cruel and difficult, and it is, but you'll get a chance to improve that F by writing an analyses, or more than likely what I typically do is put together a short list of questions, 3 or 4 questions that pertain to the prior round. I'll ask you some very specific questions that require some research, okay, and I kind of direct those questions in an area, in a direction, direct the questions in a direction, yeah, I do. I field those questions, or put those out there in a direction that helps to focus you on some of the things that I'd like you to learn. A lot of it has to do with finance and those types of things. Stinky rotten numbers. Yeah, you're going to have to get into numbers, so bugger. Okay, you're going to do a few assignments. Those are actually all going to be in about the first 3 weeks of class. Okay, so those assignments worth 10% of your grade are in the first 3 weeks of class, and you have to get them done. Okay, they're required. You're not going to get to move on unless you get those done, and if you get them done, you'll get your 10% for completing them. So yeah, please focus on these first 3 weeks. Please get them done in a timely manner. We'll have a few milestones. I'll send out some emails here and there about those milestones, so please do that. You'll be evaluated then by your peers, so your teammates, okay, as to how much you helped out with your team during the course of the semester. We also do at the end we do a major test that's it's a test that's based on the game. It's called the CompXM. You might see some references to it early on here. Just ignore them for now. With about 3 or 4 weeks left of class, I'll get you going on that CompXM. That's a test that we use for assessment, okay, and we use that for assessment for our entire program. So it's a fairly in-depth test, okay, that you'll take. It takes a decent amount of time, so you know, and that's why I'll give you several weeks towards the end to kind of work on it. It's a test that you can start and stop, and it doesn't have to all be completed in one setting type of deal. So you don't feel that kind of pressure. You don't feel the time pressure, as long as you start it in a reasonable time frame. So that test is as much for us as business faculty and as business department as it is for you guys. We like to see how we're doing, okay, how we're stacking up, how our students are stacking up against past students and against current students and other from other universities. It's the results are really kind of interesting, you know, because we're a small college. We have small sample sizes. I'm not going to tell you that from year to year or from some semester to semester that they're really revealing, but they're revealing over time. We can kind of take a look and see how we're doing. Now, the reason it counts for part of your grade is that I got to give you some reason to do as well as possible on that. Okay, it's a relatively small part of your grade, so if you happen to not do so well on it, it's not going to necessarily move you from a C to a D. Okay, but it's definitely a part of your grade that I want you to really work on when the time comes. And that's it for the syllabus. Okay, the schedule, I think I got a schedule in there too that may be different. I'll try to upgrade that. Maybe I just haven't even upgraded it. Shame on me. There's the schedule. And what the schedule is going to do, it's going to work like this basically. The first 3 weeks or so here, you're going to do some things just to kind of get prepared. And I'm going to walk you through a few things, introduce you to the simulation, do a few things like that. Okay. There's going to be a little homework and stuff that you're going to do. You're going to need to get registered, of course. Okay. We'll pick the teams. We're going to do a few things like that. Okay. And you're going to do a situation analysis, and you're going to do some rehearsal rounds, they're called, and you're going to have a rehearsal quiz and a opening day quiz, and you're going to have several things like that you're going to have to do. And then in about week 3 or so, we will start making practice round decisions. From that point on, we fall into a pretty consistent pattern. Okay, we'll have 5 practice rounds and 8 competitive rounds, so 13 rounds, 13 weeks, 15 weeks in the semester. So the first 2 weeks are dedicated to getting registered and doing some of these other things, and then the last 13 weeks are going to be 5 weeks of practice rounds and 8 weeks of competitive rounds. And then again, if your team happens to be successful, you'll get A's for those rounds, and if you're unsuccessful, then you'll have to complete an assignment that I put out each and every week. So what generally happens with this schedule is in the first 2 weeks, you guys will find it frustrating. Now, that may be changing, and I don't know how many of you had played the foundation game in Kevin's management class. I know we're getting to the point where there are a decent number of you who maybe had his management organization class and played the foundation game in that class. You're going to have a familiarity with this then. That should allow you to get through the first couple of weeks without too many problems, right? You'll know your way around the program and those types of things. For those of you that hadn't, it kind of depends on how long ago you took that class from Kevin. If you didn't get to play that foundation game, because he just started using it in the last year and a half or so, you're going to have a pretty steep learning curve this first couple of weeks, and you'll get pretty frustrated, and you'll feel like you don't know what's going on. Okay, that is very, very, very normal. Okay, I've often said in some of my classes even that those folks that haven't had experience, you're going to hate me for the first few weeks, and even into the practice rounds, you're going to hate me because you're just not. You're still struggling to learn the game, and I'm pushing things at you because I want to know about finances or marketing or this or that or the other thing, and so you'll get a little frustrated, and then about week 5 to week 7, somewhere's in there, even if you didn't play Kevin's game, the light bulb will start to come on. And for some people it's a switch, like an old-fashioned incandescent light bulb, and for some people it's like a CFL where it starts to come on but it takes a while to warm up. And and then for the rest of the semester, you'll get competitive, and you'll start to enjoy, the game, especially in relation to otherwise having to listen to me lecture and give you tests and those types of things. I think you'll find that this to be a bit more pleasant, give you a little more pleasure. So let me know, why don't you, if I'd like everybody, send me an email, because when you register, I want you to send me an email. And when you do that, send me an email too, and let me know in that email if you had used the foundation game in Kevin's management and organization class. That'll give me an idea, and it might also help me team people up different. I might put somebody that didn't have it with somebody that did, so that there's a little bit of a mentoring going on. So you can kind of read through this, but I've pretty well given you kind of what the schedule is going to look like. So if you don't want to type in CAPSIM, you can go right here to the CAPSIM website. There's an introductory video that's from last year, so I'll probably take that off of there, right? It talks about situation analysis and a few other things, and again, these are videos that I did probably last year, and I'll take a look at those, but I wouldn't doubt that I'll take those off. I don't, on a lot of my classes I have a weekly schedule all the way through, but in this case I don't, because we'll kind of walk through a lot of this, or I'm sorry, it's just going to be on a week-to-week basis after the first couple weeks. First couple weeks here, you're going to have some things to do, okay? And I think that's where I'm at now, is to tell you the things that I want you to do here, okay, immediately, basically, okay? So, number one, and this is due, okay, soon, this week, okay, you have to get your packet from the bookstore, and you must register with CAPSIM. Okay, so get your packet, go to the sign up. There's a code in there, and there's a place when you're going through the sign up where you're going to need to use that code. Okay, so do that and get registered with CAPSIM. Okay, from that point, and I'm gonna show you a few things. You can kind of do anything you want once you get in there. Okay, remember I said that I would tell you an industry number. I'm going to see if I can make this even bigger here. Okay, there it is. That's a number that you can register for when it asks you for a course number, or I forget what the term was that it uses, but it's going to ask you for a course number, sign up for a game, or sign up for a whichever. It's C73281. C73281. And you see we've got one student that has already got a little bit ahead and got registered and whatnot. So okay, so there's the course number that you're going to need in order to get registered. Okay, once you do that, I think your opening screen will be a little bit like this. Okay, and when we click on this, it takes us this is going to take me to an instructor page, but I'll get into a page that looks like your guys's. So once you get registered, then you'll come to a page that looks like this. Okay, here's your homework for the first 2 weeks: introductory lesson quiz, rehearsal tutorial, and the situation analysis. Okay, you have to do all 3 of those. Okay, and that has to be done in the first 2 weeks. Okay, and you don't have to submit anything. Okay, you don't have to send anything to a Dropbox or submit anything or do anything like that, because when you finish that, I can simply go in and check. Okay, I can simply go in and check and see that you're done. It'll allow me to go to a report where I can check on that. So jump in. Okay, and I think you can do the rehearsal more than once if you want. It allows you to kind of walk through and you learn some of the decisions that you're going to make during the games and whatnot. I think it breaks it down decision by, there's 4 basic areas where you make decisions: finance, marketing, production, HR. Seems like I'm missing actually one of the major ones in there because I'm not thinking of it right off the top of my head. Okay, and it'll walk you through how to do those. Okay, the situation analysis gets to be a little bit more in depth, and I'll probably do another video, maybe even on Thursday, where I would discuss the situation analysis a little bit. So okay, sorry, I had a little interruption there. Hopefully I can kind of get back into this a little bit. So I think I was saying that I'll do a video probably later, maybe in the first part of next week, where I'll go through the situation analysis that you guys need to do. This one's really important. I think students in the past, they tend to kind of overlook it. They tend to get it done just to get it done because I'm requiring it, and they don't realize the importance of it and the information that's there that will really help to make you successful in the game itself. Okay, and being successful in the game itself might mean not having to write a weekly assignment. So, might be something that you want to do, right? It actually just talks about the different rounds and whatnot. And those you'll actually end up finding perhaps a different way to make the practice round decisions when that time comes. My preferred method is actually going through a spreadsheet. You can download a spreadsheet, and that is, let me see here, I'll see if I can find that in your guys's. Oops, it's probably under the decisions, I'm sorry. This getting started kind of helps too. There's the introductory lessons, the guide, which you'll want. If I were you, I would take this PDF guide and then put it on your portable, your laptop, your whatever you got that you can read the PDF. Okay, and I would keep that handy. You guys are going to ask me probably an awful lot of questions that are in the guide, and my response might be, when you ask that question, that it's in the guide, look it up. The guide's about 30 pages with pictures and all kinds of things, and so it's really not that difficult to read through the whole thing, and it's got an index and everything. It's not that difficult to refer back to it and look up the different things that you might want to look up. Okay, the rehearsal tutorial, this works. The capstone courier is, and I'm going to click on that, and this is going to be the thing that you look at and that we refer to really constantly. Okay, and HTML or PDF, I generally look at the HTML version. Some people like to also download the PDF version and then store it, right, from week to week. It's going to change from week to week, obviously. Okay, you may want to just kind of glance at this. Obviously, when we start this game, everybody starts even, right? We all start exactly the same. Okay, and you may kind of want to look through this and get a feel for where things are at. Okay, because you're going to spend the rest of the semester, starting especially in week 3, looking at this capstone courier an awful lot, a whole lot. Yes, a lot. Oops. I want to get back here. Join a company. You won't do that. I'll assign you to a company. And again, if you have a real interest, you can email me some stuff like that. Situation analysis. Remember, you're gonna do that. I'll probably send you. Feel free to get started. You can start any of those things. The quiz. There's an introductory quiz there, right there. You can listen to this thing, introductory lesson, take the quiz. You know what? If you get stuff wrong, you get to redo it until you get them all right. Okay, so none of this, it's all designed to get you kind of familiar with it. It's not designed to trip you up or anything like that. It's not like my usual tests. Okay, so you can listen to the lesson, take the quiz. 10 minutes, that type of a thing. It's really not a lengthy time. Okay, that's going to be a part of your first week assignment too. So you got to get your packet, get registered, introductory quiz. I want all done this week. Okay, pick a strategy is when we get the teams going, and prior to the opening practice round, you guys are going to have to pick a strategy. Well, guess what? If you click on that, it's probably going to walk you through. Be sure to read 6 Basic Strategies, Chapter 12 of the Team Member Guide, which is the guide up here, same one that you would have downloaded from there. Okay, so might you familiarize yourself with that? Okay, yes. So really, I would say that there's lots of assignments here for the first week. There's get your packet, get registered, do the opening day quiz. Do the quiz. You can start on the rehearsal. You can read about, you will read about the strategies and whatnot. You can start on the situation analysis if you want. Okay, those are all part of the first week. Okay, you can't hurt this thing. You can come in and click around and do things and mess around as much as you would like. You can't hurt it. Okay, and so jump in and do some of those things with, of course, keeping in mind that you've got those 3 for sure that I'll get a record of. I won't get a record of you reading about the strategies, okay? But that's an assignment, so do it anyways, okay? A few others of those things, like I won't get a record of you downloading the guide, but do it anyways, okay? So a few of those things I want you to do. Decisions, and this is, you'll have 2 different ways when we get into the practice rounds. Now, I may be getting ahead of myself a little bit here, but the way I prefer is to download the Excel spreadsheet. Students in the past, a lot of them have preferred the web spreadsheets, so that one's going to be kind of 6 of one, half a dozen the other. I'll probably show you that at a little later date. Different things there under the homework. I don't think there's anything there. They used to have a Dropbox and some things like that. I found it to be a little clunky and not that workable, and so I've just stayed away from that, and I don't really need it anyways. So we'll use D2L when we get into doing the assignments each week. You know, when we start the practice rounds and those types of things, we'll just use the Dropbox and D2L where you guys will put your stuff, and that works pretty good. I think I probably need to go change dates on it, but I probably have Dropbox. Yeah, my dates are, you know, from last fall, so we'll get those. But there's a Dropbox for each round, and then there's pre-evaluations that we'll do at the end as well. Okay, and along with your comp XM that you'll do, and that's like some of the other stuff. You finish it, and I just get reports of that right online, so it works pretty snazzy. So. I hope that has covered a good portion of what we got going on here. You guys haven't had a problem in the last few years with having distance students being in teams. You guys know how to communicate far better than I when it comes to communicating with distance students and those types of things. I can gladly set up groups and whatnot on the website or on the D2L. You know, I can do some things like that. If anybody needs that, just let me know and I'll try to help facilitate that. And again, please let me know when you've registered. Okay, please send me an email. You can send it right through D2L, that's fine. And please let me know if you had the foundation, the CapSim foundation in Kevin's class within the last year or so. So appreciate it. I'm going to sign off now. I don't need to talk much longer than that, but get this thing and get on it and use it and have some fun with it, and don't worry about breaking it. I will talk to you soon.